Schwarzy getting sick though, robotus. Problems in my mind, so I rolled the dust. I can go inside with a brand new ride. Rather spend my time with enlightened minds. I'ma take my space, put it in overdrive. I can levitate, but you hate the climb. Let me serenade all the feelings of the jive. Gotta find a way we can all go shine. My number one mission to break a paradigm. Schwarzy kicking wisdom like a number 9. I got problems that I never seen since 09. Got a pocket full of evergreen lights and dimes. Schwarzy in this bitch, bringing structure to the fluid. How is we the same when you know we not congruent? Schwarzy about his change, got him thinking that I'm Jewish. I'ma switch lanes, doing magic like a druid. I'm like a white tee, cause I'm shining brightly. You ain't gotta hype me, bitch, it's Schwartz Spike Lee. I direct the flow, you ain't know, now you know. If your mind filled with problems, baby, roll the boat. Little Schwartz come around, he too cold, need a code. I can spark up the dark and express it with no throw. Boy's part of my heart, and I seen it in my soul. If you think you're going hard, better check it with your goals, goddamn. Little Schwartz Peter Pan, fly through the sky, but I'll probably never land. Flip 6 bricks and take trips to Japan. Little Schwartz brought a bitch straight to the motherland. Hope you understand, came in with a plan. Everything I do is just for me and the fam. Until I wake up with a couple $100 grand. Until my day come, I'm getting paid up in advance. Ayo, ayo, ayo. We back in this bitch. We back in this bitch. That right there was a snippet from a new feature that I got coming out with Fresh Sage. I'm about to send that shit off today after I get off here with you guys. But I had some shit running through my mind that I wanted to come on here and break down once again for you guys today. So before we get into that, once again, welcome back to the Communication Station. You and this bitch with your host Schwarzy. And a couple of things I just want to mention before we get into the actual breakdown. Obviously, I've been talking about this each one teach one repetitively. Immediately after I do this live stream, I'm gonna have a piece of content coming out correlated to that. Make sure that you guys get signed up and everything. It is currently 4:13 p.m. Eastern right now. Get signed up as fast as you can, because our first class is going to be taking place tonight. We got Shine in Darkness holding the first class today, so that's going to be really fun to interact with. A couple other things, obviously, donation link in the bio, business link in the bio, collabs, consultations, tarot card readings, birth chart readings, whatever you guys need, hit me up there. But also, I'm introducing the Discord link. We're going to build a Discord community, aka the Communication Station. It's essentially going to be the same exact shit as on here. You guys are just going to have an opportunity to interact with other individuals who are, you know, also watching my channel, might be into the same things that you're into, as well as I'll be interacting with you guys on there as well. So you know, we can hold weekend live streams or some shit like that, where we just chop it up with the people in the Discord and stuff like that. So if you guys are interested in that, obviously link is in the description. Go ahead and click on the Discord link and get up in there on the Discord. You know what I'm saying? We invite you guys that way. And if that link, if you guys have any issues with that link, that's just like a basic Discord invite link. If there's any problems with that, just hit me up on my email or my Instagram. It's right. The link for those two is right above it in the description, so you guys can see that. And if you have any issues, just let me know. I'll send you the link personally if you need it. You know what I'm saying? But that's essentially all I had to say. Let's get into what we really came here for. Let's get into what we really came here for. So today we're talking about religion versus astrology versus spirituality, strictly in the context of I don't really necessarily want to say manifesting, but essentially just the process of giving shape to whatever passion or motivation that you have, or whatever it is that you're into. Essentially in the context of using things as a tool rather than using things as something to praise, or something to be entertained by, or something to juice up your mentality at the moment, aka your thoughts and feelings, the combination of the two coming together to create a mentality. You know what I'm saying? So that's the context that we're speaking about today. So I don't think we're going to go with the glasses today. They don't feel right on my face for the moment. But essentially in this context, I wanted to speak about this because I started noticing how it pretty much astrology and spirituality is becoming like a new age, a new formulation of religion in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? And there's just a couple of things that I wanted you guys to take into consideration and keep in mind whenever we're along these lines, to show you essentially who the real spiritual individuals are, even people in religion. You know what I'm saying? Like there's people who use religion in the right way, even if they and look, this is the thing too. Like, I get that not everything is correlated to how much money you have in the bank, how big that your house is, and all these different type of things. You know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking on the people who actually get some type of results from religion, aside from the people who go to church every single Sunday and show up to every revival, reunion, whatever the fuck they call that shit, communion, drinking the bread and eating the wine and all that shit. You know what I said that backwards, but y'all get what I'm saying. When we get into those concepts, there's people within that who can do these things repetitively and go to church every day, but still they're 65, 70 years old and they're miserable, and for all this time that they have praised Jesus and shit like that, or prayed to their God and stuff like that, they never got any type of results from it. They never got a nice house like the preacher got. They never got, you know what I'm saying? They never owned more than one business. They never owned even one business like the deacon in the church, or this and that and this and that. You know what I'm saying? So these are just things to take into consideration. Like I said, everything's not correlated to money and what you have. But even so, there's people who are within religion who, even if they didn't necessarily get the money from it, they still got rewarded spiritually. They're rich in spirit, aka like a person who stand on business, aka walk how they talk, practice what they preach, type of thing. And not only that, there's people who can be broke as a joke, and at the same time they're still very giving, very considerate, very forgiving. You know what I'm saying? If you was to mistakenly do something to them or some shit. And then you have the same people who are into the exact same thing, who are bitter and in suffering all the time, aka living in a physical version of hell that they've created for themselves, aka living in an undesirable mental and emotional state of being. You know what I'm saying? And everything's a problem, everything's an issue. It takes a lot for this type of person to be happy or some shit like that. Either that, or they just put on like the guise of being happy all the time, but you can kind of get that unsettling feeling like something's up with this individual. So I wanted to speak along those lines today. And not only that, there's other things to take into consideration. People in astrology do the exact same thing. You know what I'm saying? People in spirituality do the exact same thing. When we start getting into certain talking points that people in a quote unquote spiritual community like to use, such as chakras, law of attraction, affirmations, all these different type of things. You know what I'm saying? And same thing with astrology, that the energy itself be attractive. You know what I'm saying? Just the concept itself would be taken as something that is like interesting to people. You know what I'm saying? It can be taken and seen as very interesting, instead of something that can be a form of practical application that can actually be applied to your life. It's something that you feel like you need to praise or give all your attention to or give all your energy to, in a way of just thinking that it's so interesting. So your mind is automatically correlated to this shit all the time. But the only thing that you're using it for is to have something to talk about when you come around other individuals who might not necessarily know about astrology or spirituality, but you never actually apply it to your own individual circumstance and situation. You only apply it to talking shit to other individuals, or basically being, it's like a drama, chatty Cathy type of vibe when you're in that. You know what I'm saying? You would rather sit here and talk amongst other individuals about these concepts because you think they're interesting, and you might even like the fact of like, okay, I know more about this, and whenever I come and mention this in these environments, regular like work day and around my family and shit, like, oh, these people don't know anything about it, whether they agree or disagree, that this is something that's interesting. We can have something to talk about here. You know what I'm saying? When it don't necessarily need to be that. It don't need to be another form of religion. It don't need to be another form of something that we're just interested in, and we're just talking about, and we're taking the concept as a talking point rather than the actual tool that it is, and the wisdom and knowledge that you could extract from it. Same exact shit from the Bible. And I'm about to show you guys how this is true. And not just like the Bible, King James version, Christianity. Not, it's not even just that branch of religious concepts. It's also many other branches of religious concepts. You know what I'm saying? But what I want to do for this, to separate the two, because I don't even like even getting to the point where I'm going to use the term spirituality anymore. Like I'm going to eventually come up with a new term for my practices and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I just don't like how this term is being conflated to people who float around this space and want to call themselves quote unquote spiritual, but really don't be knowing how to apply anything, and just want to talk about shit. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to come up with a new term for it. But the thing is, I wanted to separate the two. So essentially, what I'm talking about when I say religion versus astrology versus spirituality, I want to separate the spirituality from astrology and religion. We're gonna branch the more common, more well-known version of spirituality, which would be like conscious community type shit, or just uh the spirituality rhetoric that gets kicked, as far as shadow work, chakras, manifest law of attraction, and all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Affirmations and all that stuff. Like, and don't get me, some of these things are very useful, some of these things are very important to know. It's just, you need to take into consideration 99% of people who are in this category of quote unquote spirituality aren't actually practicing anything, and they don't know what they're doing, and they're just taking concepts from other people. You know what I'm saying? And just using it for the moment because they can say an affirmation and channel a certain energy that they don't typically have access to, and make themselves feel better in some type of way. That's really the only thing. You know what I'm saying? But astrology and spirituality go under the same branch in the aspect of I'm talking about. Spirituality, for my own unique individuality perspective, that's what I'm referring to as spirituality in this concept, not the bandwagon spirituality that's becoming a trend now, the new age religion and shit like that we have nowadays. You know what I'm saying? But religion deals with Christianity, Muslimism, or however the fuck you would refer to that, Judaism, Buddhism, whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? So those two go together, and then spirituality stands alone as an individual by itself, because I'm referring to my own practices and the results that I know that I've gotten based on this shit. You know what I'm saying? But religion and astrology and the bandwagon spirituality falling up under that. You know what I'm saying? These two things are practiced incorrectly by majority of the world. Do you know what I'm saying? Majority of astrologers take it in the same exact concept as religious people do. So, for example, you know how it tells you over and over again in the Bible, even the words in red, aka the words that Jesus said himself in the Bible. It tells you over and over again that the Bible is, all the words in the Bible, God's word, aka, is utilized in an aspect of allegory and metaphor. You know what I'm saying? Essentially coded language. You know what I'm saying? But it tells you that over and over again, but yet people will still read a verse and take it very literally. You know what I'm saying? And this is the thing to consider. Even if some of that shit is actually taking place in real life, aka certain shit in the book of Revelation that people want to keep bringing up and stuff like that, as far as like the Euphrates River going dry, or certain shit going down with Israel and bringing certain nations together and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? People will use these things as examples, and yes, these things very well could be actually manifesting. You get what I'm saying? It actually could be playing out like that. But another thing to take into consideration is, even if it is playing out in reality, or you can actually go and look at the bottom of the Red Sea and see fucking chariot wheels and shit like this from Romans and stuff like that from way back in the day, or Egyptians, or whatever, however the fuck the story goes. You know what I'm saying? But take into consideration as well, this is an allegory and a metaphor that is directly being utilized as a sentiment and a symbolism to point back to within yourself, to take into consideration. So you get what I'm saying? Like, there's just certain shit to take into consideration. Israel, the individual, that the crown chakra. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you really get into these type of concepts, you would understand what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So there's just things to take into consideration. It's not all cut and dry and exactly as it appears. The Bible itself will tell you that over and over and over again. You get what I'm saying? But majority of people will still read that, but meanwhile take everything very literally. And the problem with that is the lines get blurred and things start to become something that it's not. And not only that, things become a talking point, and things become interesting, especially whenever we get into what we're seeing now actually being manifested in reality. So people would, instead of taking their belief in Jesus or taking their belief in God and using that to for all possibilities to manifest and play out through whatever experience that they're trying to have at the moment, they would rather sit here and correlate and give all their attention to, oh shit, look what's happening in Israel. Oh shit, look at the Euphrates River. Oh shit, look at all these interesting concepts that we can have a talking point about and give all of our energy to, rather than actually sitting back and using that to build ourselves up and do something for ourselves and our community and our family. You get what I'm saying? Now that's majority of the people who practice these things. You get what I'm saying? Now, take a close look at preachers and deacons and shit like that. People, aka people who get paid off of the church. You know what I'm saying? Look at these people now. Okay. Now, when you look at these people who run the church, and if you're actually really good at picking up on vibes, body language, and like essentially telling where a person is coming from and shit like that, pay attention to your preachers and deacons. You know what I'm saying? This is the thing about it. A lot of the times, a preacher is somebody that came from nothing and made something out of it. You get what I'm saying? I don't know too many preachers who was already well off before they became a preacher. You get what I'm saying? They got into the religion, and then they extracted the wisdom and knowledge and learned about the tools that you can utilize from the Bible. You get what I'm saying? AKA the energies, the sentiments, AKA the ways of going about things, aka learning what to do and what not to do, and what to actually be involved in. You know what I'm saying? And this is how you recognize somebody who's actually practicing religion correctly. It doesn't matter how it necessarily comes out. You get what I'm saying? Like, this preacher could be into this religion, and then whenever they get into position and they're a preacher now, and they make a fuck ton of money off of the church and the community or whatever, it could come out in a very evil way. They could now be very evil, be really stingy with their money, never do anything for the community. It could come out like that. But understand, that doesn't mean that they're doing anything wrong. What led them to this position, even if they do wrong when they get into this position, doing wrong by other people or whatever. You know what I'm saying? This person was applying the religion in a correct type of way. So instead of being all juiced up to just go praise and shit like that, and being juiced up to just be calling on the name of Jesus and oh hallelujah kumbaya and shit like that. Instead of that type of energy, they actually went and said, okay, what type of gifts and talents do I have that I can actually apply this type of energy to be able to get some type of result or manifest something out off of it. AKA, you might have a preacher who's good at singing. They incorporate the fact that they can sing certain church hymns and shit like that into their preaching style. You know what I'm saying? So when they're preaching, aka giving the word of God, or however they want to refer to it, they also incorporate in a level of whenever I fucking flip my whenever I snap my fingers or hit this certain hand symbol, that's when y'all start going in and y'all start using piano keys and shit like that. Not only that, you could have some Aries first house type of energy, cardinal fire, aka initiating and creating new ways of envisioning things, new perspectives and shit like that. You could have that type of energy where a preacher is directly correlated to giving their perspective on their interpretation of the Bible and shit like that. Even if a preacher is sitting here and does not have the correct interpretation and is still saying and taking things very literally, you got to understand the energy of it, the spirit of it. You get what I'm saying? Instead of sitting here and put in a position where he's taking everything literally, paying very much attention to every time an archaeologist can go and find pieces of chariot wheels from the Egyptians in the bottom of the Red Sea, and paying attention to every time that the Euphrates River dry up, and every piece of verbiage and Bible passage that correlate to reality in some type of way. Instead of paying attention to all that shit, he actually applied it to his own gifts and talents and put himself in a position where now he can be a leader of the church. Now he can have his own church, and now he can experience some type of results off of it. That's the exact same thing that we be into when we're into astrology and spirituality. But majority of the world would rather be in a pew listening to the preacher rather than being the preacher themselves. You get what I'm saying? Instead of taking astrology and taking spiritual concepts and using them for the tool that they are, extracting the wisdom and knowledge out of them and applying them as some formulation of practical application to make yourself better and entice your personal growth and development, you would rather use that shit to entice your thoughts and feelings, or entice and attract more occurrences of whenever you can come and tell somebody something that they might not necessarily know at the moment. And now you think that you're smart or some shit. Facts. Spirits are strong when they can do things for self, even if it's positive or negative in a collective aspect. Exactly. Mooney Mercury Baby's right on point with that shit. And y'all go sub to Mooney Mercury Baby if you haven't yet. You get what I'm saying? But what he's saying is exactly correct. What do we be telling y'all all the time? And what do even certain people who are in religious concepts tell you all the time? God help those who help themselves. You get what I'm saying? So instead of the preacher wanting really strongly to be a part of the community and be here fucking giving all energy to singing these church hymns and being in a pew and all that shit and reading along real easily and stuff, no, he would rather go and apply it to his own situation in some type of way. That way he can boost himself up, you know what I'm saying? And then now he can be the one who goes on mission trips and shit. He be the one who go to Venezuela and bring Christianity, or he the one who go to the tribal islands and bring Christianity, new age fucking conquistadors and new age fucking concepts of, what do they call that? The Crusades and shit, where they bring in Christianity to all four corners of the earth and shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's what happens. God helps those who helps themselves. So by a preacher actually being like, okay, I'm actually going to go and study the Bible more. I'm actually going to go and work on myself, develop these characteristics and traits that I necessarily need in order to be able to actually play out whatever it is that I desire at the moment. I believe in God so much that I feel like I'm being called to be a preacher. I believe in God so much that I feel like I'm being called to go on mission trips. I believe it. You get what I'm saying? And that faith, belief, and imagination, you tie that to your passion. I'm passionate about going on this mission trip. I'm passionate about being this teacher. And then now you got all the grand support from God in the universe that you need. The more you continue to work on yourself and develop those characteristics and traits, that's why certain shit will just start to fall in your lap whenever you get on that type of path. And I don't mean in the aspect of, let me sit down and fucking, oh, humbaya, hold my hand signals in a certain type of way and fucking hum a ram, lam, and dom type shit. And then all of a sudden I have $1 million. No, bitch. I'm talking about when you actually do the work, you do the shadow work, you do the accountability work, you handle your responsibilities, you develop your character, you develop the characteristics and traits that you need in order to play out whatever it is that you want. And that's what gives more shape to, more logic and reasoning, more squared out to what might be obscure at the moment. You get what I'm saying? So a preacher might be acting on an emotion and feeling or an internal imagination that's very obscure at the moment. He necessarily don't know what that he want to do. You know what I'm saying? He just know he feel like God is telling him to do something at the moment. You get what I'm saying? And he have a strong feeling about it, right? And he fucking, Jesus Christ save me, I believe in God very so much. You know what I'm saying? So what's he gonna do? Instead of being in a position of like just being happy with that fact, like, oh yeah, God ready to use me and shit, like, yeah, I'm about to be a vessel for God and shit, and bring these Christian teachings and shit. Instead of just getting juiced up on that and being satisfied with that, he's like, okay, let's give more shape and definition to this. Let me now do the shit that I need to do necessarily, as far as let me go and develop these characteristics and traits, study the Bible more, so I have a mental sharp sword. So if anybody come and ask me a question, I can immediately give them a passage and tell them exactly where it's at, and tell it word for word and shit, and develop that type of aspect. Develop a communion type of aspect. When you go to church, you shaking the hands and shit. You know what I'm saying? Doing this type of shit. And the more and more that this person will reach and come to conclusions of having more definition to whatever the obscurity is of that passion and motivation that you have within you, that you might not necessarily not know how to go about it, and not know what to do with it. You get what I'm saying? So the more that you sharpen and refine your own skills as an individual, the more shape and definition that it'll give to it, and therefore the more chances that you have to interact with a higher level and a higher octave version of whatever it is that you are passionate, motivated, have a gift and talent towards at the moment. And then the more definition that you give to it, the more that now the tools that are actually necessary for that thing to be played out in a more broad way in reality now come to you. Now all of a sudden you have a pulpit. Now all of a sudden you might have even got donated a big ass building to use as your church. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's how this shit play out. And if you guys want to sit here and say that I'm capping in some type of way, look at your grandmother who go to church every Sunday, and now look at the preacher. That, let's say these two individuals are the same age. Let's say for example you have an older preacher in your church. You get what I'm saying? Preacher good. Preacher go on mission trips. The motherfucker go to Venezuela. He go to the Bahamas. He go on all these islands and shit like that. And always going on trips. Motherfucker got 3 black Cadillac Escalades. Motherfucker got a 3-story house and shit like that. Now look at your regular broke ass grandma. If you like a hood motherfucker who's like ain't really had nice things or some shit like that, and you're like your whole family ain't really got that much. You know what I'm saying? Look at your broke ass grandma and look at the difference between the two. You know what I'm saying? Your grandma probably somebody who's lazy in real life. Even if she's not lazy in real life, she's mentally and emotionally lazy to the point where she would never actually refine her own skills. She would rather just be juiced up on the entertainment factor or the aspect of juicing up her mentality, her thoughts and feelings to a certain type of aspect. And instead of using that to boost her own and sharpen her own skills and shit like that, she would rather give $20 to the offering plate every Sunday and praise this preacher for being smart enough to go and study the Bible and sharpen his own intellect and sharpen his own skills and shit like that. Same exact thing on every other level of life. Same exact thing on every other level of life. It's those who are going to take whatever information is placed in front of them, and they're going to extract the wisdom and knowledge out of it, and they're going to apply it to their own life to develop and sharpen their own skills. You get what I'm saying? And then there are individuals who will find the concept of whatever information is being presented at the moment right now. they will find the concept itself interesting and be juiced up in their thoughts and feelings by the interesting factor of whatever concept that is at the moment, or whatever thing that they're paying attention to at the moment, how it make them think and feel, the certain type of thoughts and feelings that it spark within them. And instead of using that to sharpen their own, once again, they give it right back to the exact same thing. So instead of taking that information and apply it, they're going to take that information and the way that it made them think and feel and respond, and they're going to carry that over into another circumstance and situation where they go and be like a spiritual fat ass and shit like this, and take in all these extra lights and get all this other type of information so that they can then come around you and have fucking diarrhea of the mouth, aka essentially spiritually shitting out all that dead flesh, all those lights, all those thought forms, all that information. You get what I'm saying? And now when they come around you, diarrhea of the mouth, they can't shut up. And what you'll notice if you do a little bit of looking around on the internet and watching certain podcasts that majority of the world is into and shit, all you're going to realize is that this person is just regurgitating information that they found from somebody else or read somewhere else. You get what I'm saying? And it's not anything that is based upon their own experiences, or if we want to get into a science aspect, it's not even based on their own experiments or their own hypothesis or their own. You get what I'm saying? This is just how the world play out down here. You have those that do, and then you have those that are too lazy to do, or wish that they could, or are too afraid. You know what I'm saying? Essentially the definitive line in the sand is you have those who do and you have those who don't. Essentially, you get what I'm saying? Like I've told you guys before, the only thing that there is action or inaction. That's the only thing there is. Anything in between, any other line that you want to draw, any other equilibrium blending of the two that you want to do, in my mind, from my perspective, is just another formulation of an excuse for you not to do what the fuck you need to do. So you can have people who are really just sitting in inaction and sitting here and coming up with a whole 10,000 justifications of why they need to sit on whatever it is that they're sitting on at the moment, rather than just jumping into that taking action space. You get what I'm saying? From a subconscious perspective, this lets you know when you attracting like fear and doubt and shit like that. You got something emotionally going on that's making you stagnate like that. That if you coming up with a bunch of those justifications and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is how life plays out on every single level of life. We just have certain examples that we can utilize as far as religion, because it's been here. It's a long-standing thing that's been here for a long ass time. You know what I'm saying? And then we've got astrology, which has also been here for a long ass time, but it's becoming more mainstream, becoming more popular nowadays, especially whenever we get into the off branch of that, the spiritual concept. You get what I'm saying? The concept of spirituality in the more popular mainstream version formulation of what it is. What real spirituality is the definitive individual that I was telling you, that I was speaking to you guys about previously. You know what I'm saying? And that's where my practices lie. So let me give you guys a few examples of what I was talking about earlier, as far as the more that you work on your own skills and shape shit up, the more that you will have shit that kind of just land in your lap to a certain aspect. But that's not to say there hasn't been work being put in. You get what I'm saying? The reason why you deserve to now have a free fucking church building that you can go to that got donated to you by the community is due to the work that you was putting in on your own individual time. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why you deserve it, and that's the reason why you even receive it in the first place. So now let's talk about real spirituality and real results. You know what I'm saying? Now, the aspect of real spirituality from my perspective, obviously, is individuality. Being your own unique individual, developing your own unique perspectives based upon whatever energy that it is that we're dealing with at the moment. You get what I'm saying? So when we're dealing with astrology and shit like that, it plays out the exact same way that religion does. You get what I'm saying? astrology and religion go hand in hand in the aspect as far as what is spoken about in astrology and what is spoken about in religion is referring to specific energy points within you. You get what I'm saying? Within your internal universe. You get what I'm saying? All these things are a symbolism to point back to something within you that might not have any shape or definition. That's more obscure at the moment, and it needs some type of image. Like I told you guys in a past video, it's a majority of the world down here needs the fucking logic and reasoning. So there's got to be some, you got to give some type of photo to convey it, a symbol, a fucking a letter, a word, something to do it, aka the symbol for cancer, aka the word cancer itself, aka the word Leo itself, aka the symbol Leo itself, the symbol for the planet Neptune, the symbol for, you get what I'm saying, the symbol for the air energy, the symbol for the earth energy. Same thing with religion, certain concepts, Jesus, Job, Jonah, Moses, shit like this. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you know how to really interpret these things, you do or you don't. I'm not going to sit here and break down every single thing. If you guys want something like that, that's actually what I'm going to be doing in my class. Essentially, I'm going to be breaking down all the astrological energies and how they can be applied as a mental concept and a mental tool, therefore for you to sharpen and develop your own skills and give more shape and definition to whatever obscure passion and motivation that you have at the moment, and whatever you want to utilize it for. You get what I'm saying? So essentially, all these things are just pointing to these energy centers within yourself. You know what I'm saying? So we take these as a tool, and we use these things to sharpen and develop our own skills, and not something that we just find interesting at the moment, or not something that we're just entertained by at the moment. Because I've even seen certain energies of people just getting juiced up for the simple fact of finally seeing their birth chart for the first time and finally being able to tie together, like, oh yeah, I got Sun Square Saturn or some shit like that. That's why this learning experience came to me, and they're in these signs and in these houses, and that's how this play out, and da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen certain energies of that, of people just getting juiced up, of astrology being able to add definition to whatever experience that you went through in the past that have a level of obscurity to it, aka you don't necessarily know why you went through that. So astrology can give you a lot of answers to a lot of whys that you may have that played out throughout your life. But a lot of people will get stuck on that why, aka just be living in the past and just be satisfied for the simple fact of, okay, this astrology told me why I even went through that in the first place. You get what I'm saying? So I've seen a lot of that energy. But it's just a mental tool and a concept for you to utilize, and it can help you add a definition and make your approach more sturdy and stable with whatever it is that you're going through at the moment. Same thing with religion. I can sit here and do a Bible study with you guys and read a Bible verse, and I've even done this. Like, look, I don't know like how everybody practices their shit and stuff like that, but there's certain times where I'll even go to a church. You get what, like, I don't practice religion at all. I don't even really read the Bible on my own time. I just know how to interpret it. You get what I'm saying? I know how to view it in the correct type of aspect. That's why I get a different energy from it than majority of the world do. You know what I'm saying? But there's certain times where I will actually go to a church and actually physically sit down and listen to whatever Bible verses it is that they're reading at the moment. Obviously, the preacher and the people in the crowd is going to have a incorrect, ignorant type of interpretation on it. They're going to be taking it strictly as reality and skipping over the actual spiritual nutrients that there is there to add to your internal soil to grow your plant and have the good fruit on it. You get what I'm saying? I'm very aware of these things. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. You go to a church, and that can help you even develop more mental tools. Or if you don't want to go to a church, I just do that to kind of test out and see where religion is at certain times. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to just practice this on your own day, learn how to interpret the Bible in a less ignorant, more spiritual, individual type of way. And all of a sudden, here you go with all these spiritual gems and wisdom now. And here you go with all these tools you can utilize now. Same thing if you go and actually go to church and take it for what it is and actually apply it to your life. That's why the preacher's even in the position that he's in right now. You know what I'm saying? But these things are mental tools and concepts. So a real spirituality knows this. A real individual, a real spirit, a real spiritually inclined individual knows this. So all we do is use those things for what it is instead of self-identifying with it. All of a sudden, now I'm a Christian and I believe in that strongly. Now, all of a sudden, I'm an astrologer and I believe in that strongly, or I believe in this concept strongly. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to say that your breath is wasted by being an astrologer and just talking, making content directly correlated to astrology all the time and astrological concepts. That's not to say that your breath is wasted doing that. But at the same time, don't put it in an aspect of you just are thinking it's interesting and being entertained by it. And you just come on here to talk on the internet about it and gain your following in that type of way. And you never actually apply it to your own day-to-day life, circumstances and situations. Your bank account never grow. You never get a better situation for yourself. You never upgrade your material. You never get a better computer. You never start getting more items that might be necessary for your shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't use it in that type of aspect. Use it in a way of where you're making yourself better and you're bettering your community and the lives of those individuals who are also around you. So yeah, real spirituality, that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, what will happen the more that you take these things as a tool and apply it, make your associations better, make the way you relate to yourself and others better, make the way that you're an individual better, make the ways that you think and communicate better, all the elements, all the planetary energies, all the numerology energies, you know what I'm saying? The more you apply these things as a tool and sharpen your own intellect, sharpen your own, well, not really sharpen, add more flow and fluid movement to the emotional state, because yeah, we don't want the emotional state all rigid and sharp and shit like that. That's not what we want. The more you can add fluid movement, fluidity with that with the water aspect, the more you can do all these things and develop these tools, the more you put yourself in a position where God in the universe is going to help you, and you now deserve more than you would have gotten previously. Like they always say, you got to move differently to get differently. You got to do different to get different. You get what I'm saying? You got to do something different than what everyone else is doing to experience the life that you want, to live a different life, to really be a unique individual, to be someone who doesn't go along with society. You know what I'm saying? And take their aspects of what family and community and love and all that shit should mean. You know what I'm saying? So the more that you do that, now the more that you deserve shit. Even if, look, and this is the thing, I told y'all, life isn't all about money and how much you have in the bank and how much material possessions that you're able to incorporate in your life. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, by default, when you're in these positions, you're gonna get shit that correlates to needing money in some type of way, especially depending on what you're into. You know what I'm saying? So for an individual like me, my main mode of expressing myself is through music. You get what I'm saying? Now, I don't want to get too personal with y'all, but there's been times where I've been really fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't have even a pair of headphones to record on my phone with. You know what I'm saying? And then like the more that I got into spirituality and astrology, the more I started applying the tools that I learned about. You get what I'm saying? So it took me from a place of being really fucked up, not so much internally, because I had already went through a lot of shit in life that kind of like solidified my emotional state of being. Not in an aspect of being like old stone cold robotic and shit like that. I just was like solidified in satisfaction, essentially. Like it was hard to get me off my pivot as far as like making me sad or some shit like that. So it was like hard to sway me emotionally. But internally, as far as maybe the way I was thinking and trying to approach things with the earth element, and also just my external experience in general was very fucked up. Wrong type of people, broke ass, hood ass circumstances and situations, things like that. You know what I'm saying? But still, yeah, like I said, even though I'm going through all this shit and I'm dealing with all these weird external experiences, I had already went through a bunch of shit in my childhood to make me not care about those things. Like I had already been very broke and dealt with a lot of fucked up things monetary wise. So I already came to conclusions at this point in my life, like, okay, I don't need much to make it. And I also don't need much to survive. That was like that was literally the sentence that came into my mind, and essentially that I like to correlate that as spirit talking to me. You know what I'm saying? As far as my perspective of it, that's how it felt to me. You know what I'm saying? But that sentence, I went through something, and I was essentially looking around my house and seeing like, fuck, I don't have any possessions, dude. Like I don't have nothing. Like all I have is like a couch, a bed, and a dresser, pretty much. And I got an Xbox and a TV. That's about all I had at that point. You know what I'm saying? But I was sitting there, and I walked into my bedroom, and I seen how sparse it was. You know what I'm saying? How there wasn't anything really there. And this train of thought came across my mind that just said, I don't need much. That's all it was. I don't need much. And that shit, like, essentially, like, I can't even hold y'all. Like, I'm not gonna sit here up here and act like the hardest motherfucker ever and no stupid shit like that. I literally cried over that shit, not out of sadness due to the fact of, oh fuck, I'm looking around and I don't have any possessions, or I need to be all sad because my bank account fucked up at the moment. No, I was crying literal tears of joy, because it's always my spirit and my spirit guides who put me in that type of happy type of vibes, and just like release all type of mental and emotional restrictions. You know what I'm saying? So it put me in a very happy type of vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like I was crying literal tears of joy because I was like, I don't know, it just made so much sense to me, because you know, we always see people who have everything and are still suffering and unhappy, or and enough is never enough type of energy. Like I was just happy to be, I was like probably what, 20 years old, 21 years old. I was just happy for the simple fact of I had something. You know what I'm saying? I had anything at that point. You know what I'm saying? I was just happy that I had something. You know what I mean? And I was also happy at the fact that I didn't need a bunch of shit to make me happy. You know what I'm saying? And it gave me like this overwhelming happiness feeling. You know what I'm saying? And there's been similar shit that's happened like when I was really young and a real baby ass little child. You know what I'm saying? Like there's been other shit along those same lines that's happened, but this one was like a profound moment that essentially solidified my emotional state of being around peace and happiness, rather than any type of external circumstance and situation giving that any type of power over me to burden me in any type of way. You know what I'm saying? And that was like 7 years ago or some shit like that. So nowadays, you know what I'm saying? If all else fails and tomorrow I'm in that same type of situation, or much worse, you get what I'm saying? I'm still not going to be burdened, and I'm still not going to be overthrown by that, due to the experience that I went through that made me, you know, notice that ain't really something that I should give a fuck about anyway. You know what I'm saying? So at this point in my life, I essentially didn't give a fuck about anything that was going on externally, not to the point where I was a fool about it and I wasn't like handling my responsibilities or taking care of business or some shit like that. No, I'm just saying it wasn't anything that could really hurt me in any type of way. You know what I'm saying? But around that time is when I started to get into astrology and spirituality, and formulating my own real version of spirituality off of that. Okay. So, um, like I've told you guys before, you know what I'm saying? Things get much worse before they get better a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? So at that time, as far as what I'm speaking about, that experience that I went through, at that time, I had my own situation. I had my own place. I paid my own rent. You get what I'm saying? Like I had my own place. I had all that. Essentially, after that experience, things got much worse before they got any better. I went from at least being able to have something to point at to be like, well, I don't need much. You know what I'm saying? I don't need much to survive. Like, I don't need much to kick it. You know what I mean? At least I got something. I went from that to actually having nothing. So I essentially, I was homeless at the time. That basically couch surfing. Didn't really get into a position where I had to like actually sleep outside very much, maybe once or twice, but for the most part, I was staying in. I don't want to get too revealing for the internet and shit like that, but at that time I was staying in trap houses down in Bristol, which is like the nearest city to me. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have anything at this time. Like the most that I had was a backpack full of clothes, bro. Like genuine situation. Like, this is not anything made up. Genuine situations. And I was staying in a crack house. People is smoking meth in the house all the time. People is doing all type of wild shit. You know what I'm saying? But that was my living situation for the moment. But so I took, like I said, things got much worse before they got better. I started taking these things for the tools that they were and started applying the wisdom and knowledge. It made everything crumble, because, and this is the thing to take into consideration too. We're playing chess, not checkers. Okay. Life circumstances and situations are much bigger and much broader than what people realize they are. It doesn't matter what situation that I'm into today, and it doesn't matter what you view me as. I know where I'm headed. I know where I came from. I know where I am right now, that you can't shake me. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times shit has to crumble for the simple fact that your foundation is not stable enough. It's not strong enough. You didn't pour out the right percentage. You didn't mix the concrete right. You get what I'm saying? You put too much water in the concrete, so it take it a long time to dry. And when it do dry, it make it real brittle and easily fractured and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So the foundation, everything has to crumble if the foundation is fucked off. So if you're not building your foundation right, everything that you stack on top of it, and even if you get to this position to somewhere where you're happy now, aka now you have your own nice car, now you have your own nice house on a piece of land that you might even quote unquote think you own at the moment. The foundation isn't right. This shit, you will never be able to maintain it. You will never be able to keep it. Eventually, it's going to come to a position where all that shit has to fall down, and you have to go back to your roots and rebuild your foundation from the ground up to be able to have anything that you can even hold on to, maintain, something given to you as a gift that you actually get to keep. Everything else is going to be under a branch of, it needs to be destroyed. That way you can create a new. You get what I'm saying? So take that into consideration. Life is not all about what you just see right here at this current moment. And just because a person's whole entire building fell down because the foundation was fucked up, that doesn't necessarily mean that this person did something wrong. That doesn't necessarily mean that this person is evil. And that doesn't necessarily mean that this person can never come back from that and bounce back. I just wanted to put that out there as a little piece of information to take into consideration. You get what I'm saying? But the more that when I was in these situations of being homeless, living in trap houses in the city and shit like that, fucking being around dope fiends and crackheads every single day, waking up to fucking seeing needles and weird ass shit like that. You know what I'm saying? The more and more I ignored all that shit, stayed at peace and happiness, and the more I took whatever spiritual concept, whatever piece of information, whatever astrological concept, whatever Bible verse that I could read, religious concept, to extract some wisdom and knowledge out of, and then therefore apply that as a tool to sharpen my mentality, fucking add more fluidity to my emotional state of being, the more and more that shit started to go away, because I didn't deserve to be around crack pipes every fucking day. I didn't deserve to lift up the mattress and see a fucking crack pipe laying there. I didn't deserve anymore to be in a situation where I had to answer to somebody else. I'm living at your house. I got to do all these extra shit. Otherwise, I know it's the middle of winter time and I'm going to be sleeping on the fucking ground with snow all around me. You know what I'm saying? The more and more I focus more on myself and building and developing myself, the more and more that I was able to separate from those external circumstances and situations because I wasn't allowing them to burden me. Therefore, I wasn't in an aspect and in a position where I'm seeing this as a problem at the moment and giving all my energy and attention to that problem and how I can necessarily solve it at the moment. You get what I'm saying? Because we might be able to utilize a percentage level of observing, viewing problems, then coming up with a plan to solve said problem. That might be useful to a certain degree, but you get what I'm saying? The more that it's a problem that doesn't take uh just one day's worth of work, it's not something that can necessarily be solved very quickly. You know what I'm saying? The more and more work that you put in coming up with a plan of how you can solve it, seem to me from my experiences, the more and more that problem persists because you're viewing it as such in the first place, and on top of that you're giving all your energy and attention to it. So what are you going to do? Attract more of that shit. So the more and more you separate from the idea of viewing it as a problem and always giving attention to trying to solve that, and just worrying about developing your internal natures, developing your spirituality, developing your wisdom, knowledge, tools that you have at your disposal, the more and more you'll separate from that shit because you don't deserve it no more. Instead of worrying about everyone else and worrying about every piece of drama that comes around this shitty environment that you're in at the moment, and the more and more that you care about being extremely relatable or trying to get everyone else in the same sentiment of having the same level of peace, happiness, and satisfaction that you have, even though the external situation's fucked off at the moment, the more and more that you do that shit, the more and more that you deserve to be in that circumstance and situation. But the less and less that you actually interact with trying to get people on the same page that you're on and just worry about you, the more and more you separate from that. Because these people don't deserve to move on and leave from this environment. Otherwise, they would already be privy to the same information and the same tools that you have at your disposal and the same information that you have. If this person was meant to, deserving of getting out of this situation, and yeah, you can argue that, oh, God put me in this situation to be a vessel for this person so that I can help them out in some type of way and give them this broad philosophical point of view and give them all these tools to help them. You get what I'm saying? You can argue that all day. You know what I'm saying? But the more and more that you interact with this person, the more that you're going to deserve to be in the same exact situation with them. Like I said, we can argue that that God is using you as a vessel to come through and directly preach to this person or this group of individuals right now. That we can argue that all day, but you need to understand a person would already be on the same shit that you are on. They would already be privy to the information if they were meant to be where you are at and where you are headed. You get what I'm saying? So, and I've been through, like, these are real life examples. These are real life situations and experiences that I've been through to be able to point at and use as a testimony to tell you guys, like, yeah, this is actually what be going on. And beyond that, it's not just something that I experienced once, came to a conclusion, and then I was like, oh yeah, now it's this way. No, that's ignorant. That's not very smart. And I wouldn't be worth a fuck as a person who's a life path 9 who feel like their mission here is to teach y'all something and bring the wisdom off of my Jupiterian aspect of Jupiter being Aries, developed off of my own unique perspectives and shit. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be shit as a quote unquote life path number 9. I wouldn't be shit as a quote unquote teacher, or however y'all want to fucking refer to whatever it is that I'm doing right here at the moment. I wouldn't be shit as a teacher at that point. So yeah, this is not something that I experienced one time and I'm just bringing to y'all now and being like, oh yeah, this is the way that it is because it happened once. No, this is something that I've went through my entire life. This is something rebuilding and crumbling over and over again, dealing with the people, dealing with, you get what I'm saying? All these circumstances and situations along the same exact type of energy. You get what I'm saying? So I've experienced all this. But the more and more that I put myself in an aspect of not worrying about those people, not trying to help them, because I was extremely like that when I was younger, very self-sacrificing. I would take my last $20 and buy an old lady a bag of weed and a pack of cigarettes if she really wanted it and felt like she needed it at the moment. Like that was me. You know what I'm saying? So I started to not really give a fuck about helping people as much on a personal level like that, because it never benefited me in any type of way. You know what I'm saying? So I sat back and I applied the tools to my own mentality, to my own tool esoteric tool belt, to my own circumstances and situations. And like I said, the more I separated from that shit, the more I got myself in positions that were not only more desirable, but I got the shit that I felt like I needed. You get what I'm saying? AKA, I always felt like, man, I can't make music until I go and save up this certain amount of money to get a computer and get a beat pad and a keyboard and get a audio box and get a microphone and all this shit. Like genuinely, that's what I was thinking to myself for probably about 3 years that I wasted of not recording music and not making content due to the fact of me just sitting back on my own time, still uh needing to do the shadow work and needing to do the accountability practices enough for me to come to conclusions like, okay, I actually don't need any of that shit. I could start today. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I actually did. And this is the same thing that your preachers will do. You know what I'm saying? Whenever we get into the religious aspect, this is the same thing your preachers will do. Your preacher might have went through the exact same situation. Oh shit, I can't be a preacher yet. I don't know enough Bible verses. I don't know enough about this or that. I don't know enough about communion practices and all this shit. But the more and more that preacher just went and fucking got out their janky ass $50 phone from Walmart and started recording YouTube videos of them preaching, or the more that they actually went and said, hey, whoever the residing preacher is at this church at the moment, hey, can I come in this Sunday and just preach for 10 minutes real quick? You know what I'm saying? The more and more that motherfucker went and did that, the more and more that now he got a building donated to him. Now somebody gave him a vehicle to be able to transport his family around. Now all of a sudden, here go the contracting company, the carpenters that are in the area, the biggest company. Now all of a sudden want to come and work for his church and come and build his property for free. No down payment, no paying for materials, no labor wages, none of that. Purely donated. You get what I'm saying? Now, same exact shit happened to me. The more and more I applied these things, the less and less I deserved that bullshit. And the more and more that I started to deserve some real shit. So what I did, instead of sitting on my thumbs and sitting on my hands and sitting on my ass and fucking, the less and less that I thought that I need to go fucking cross-legged and sit here and hold a bunch of fucking hand symbols and mudras and say Ram, Dam, and Lam over and over again in my fucking brain and shit, the more and more that I deserve some real shit, the more I disconnected from all the fake fallacy bullshit that has to do with religion, astrology, and the mainstream bandwagon spirituality that we see at the moment. The more I disconnected from that, the more and more I got onto a real type of timing, the more and more a real community started to show itself. The more and more people started paying attention to me and what I got going on, not only on the internet, but in life and day-to-day circumstances. People coming up and asking me about the shit that I'm into in private that fuck, I don't even care if you know about it or not. You know what I'm saying? And not only it's not just about the attention or the community or being able to gravitate people or anything like that. It's not just about that. Take into consideration the other things as well. Back at this time, I didn't even have a vehicle. I didn't even have a mode of transportation, bitch. I was fucking walking and riding bikes everywhere. I used to ride a goddamn bike. Fucking, how far was that? I think from Bristol, Tennessee side at where I was living at over to Bella's Pizza was something like 9 miles. I was riding my bike back and forth from work every day. 9 miles there, 9 miles back every fucking time. And they would bitch at me every time I was late, especially when it would fucking rain. I would come in that bitch soaking ass wet, and I'm 15 minutes late, and here go my boss or the manager at the moment bitching at me, talking about some, oh, you're late, bitch. Don't you see that I'm soaking wet from head to toe? I just rode here in the pouring ass rain on a bicycle, bitch. If you don't shut your fucking punk ass up. But anyways, that's besides the point. But yeah, I was just saying that to emphasize on the fact of, bitch, my circumstance and situation was fucked. Okay. I barely could afford a bag of weed back then. You know what I'm saying? People was just coming around me and giving me weed to smoke with me and shit. You know what I'm like? I couldn't do anything back then. I couldn't get around. I couldn't get a better situation for myself. I didn't have any type of connection, anything to be able to hold on to, anything like that. Okay. So I went from that to having essentially everything that I needed. Okay. So I separated from that circumstance and situation. I went and stayed somewhere else, right? Because I didn't deserve that no more, aka me on my own time applying these tools. So the more and more I spent my time on that, now I'm in a much better position. Now I don't answer to nobody. Now you get what I'm saying. It can't nobody fuck with me on any level at all. Number one, but number two, now the monetary situation is better. I have a vehicle. I have insurance. I actually have a physical copy of a license. Now I don't have to worry about every time fucking getting pulled over. Goddamn possibility of going to jail or some shit like that. I'm in a completely different situation. And what really was the catalyst that set it off was not only that internal work that I had been doing. The internal work is what got me to the point to where I came to the conclusion, like, oh, fuck, I don't need a microphone. I don't need any of this shit. You know what I'm saying? So what did I do? I took a little shitty ass $50 phone that I had and I started making music and started making content. You get what I'm saying? I was like, fuck this. I can do this shit without it. I don't need to hit up a producer for a beat. I don't need to wait till I have a beat pad. I don't need to do any of this shit that I had in my mind as far as a predisposition on how shit should be. You get what I'm saying? So I was like, fuck all that. I want to do this. You get what I'm saying? I want to just express myself. I've been sitting on this shit for years. You know what I'm saying? So I went and borrowed a pair of headphones. These old trusty doggers right here. Borrowed these from my brother. You get what I'm saying? Borrowed them hoes from my little brother, type shit. And just started making music. Started getting beats off of BandLab, wherever I could find free beats at and shit. And just started expressing myself. Now I'm at the point where fuck them headphones. I'll keep them as a trophy or a fucking talking point or something to remind myself or reminisce, like, hey, remember, you don't need much. You remember how you don't need much? Yeah, you don't need much, bitch. So I started out with that little $50 phone that every time you click on the screen, it pretty much glitch every time. It's fucking very hard process of making music on that motherfucker. Okay. And some of them songs are bangers too. Once I started figuring out how to edit my vocals and doing vocal layering and shit like that. Shout out to Mooney Mercury, baby. Actually, he the one who taught me about vocal layering and shit like that to give shit like a more fuller sound and stuff. So yeah, shout out to that motherfucker for that. But that's exactly the type of shit that I'm talking about. Okay. The more that I actually applied that tool and use the tool to give definition to that obscure passion and motivation, imagination, dream, and goal that I have within myself, the more I added that definition to it, the more that I got everything that I needed, because now I deserve it. Or the shit that I felt like or thought that I needed that I actually didn't need, I got it now. You get what I'm saying? So now at this point, I got the people who will come and tell me, like Mooney Mercury, baby, hey, dude, let me give you privy to this information about how you can do this vocal layering and shit. Certain other individuals, let me get you privy to this information of how you can adjust this certain frequency and that might help your sound a little bit. Let me show you this certain perspective of how you can do your drums and shit like that on your next beat that you're making and all this shit. Now I got all those people. And not only that, on top of that, I got a keyboard with a drum pad on it. I have a computer, my own personal PC. I don't have to go to the library. I don't have to borrow nobody else's shit. I don't have to do none of that shit. I have my own shit. Microphone, fucking audio box for the microphone. I got all the software I need. Now I'm privy to editing. I can do everything I need to on this computer. I can fucking play video games if I want to. I don't do that shit because that fucking remind me of being a lazy little bitch or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't play much video games, but I could if I wanted to. My sister play Roblox on this bitch all the time. Boom. I got the editing software. I got everything I felt like I needed. I have all the time and space to do it too. Like I'm telling y'all, bro, that this is where God is truly at. Like this is where God is truly at. Fuck a religion, because majority of the people never take action on their own shit. And that could, like, let's not just chalk up religion as a whole automatically. That could just be due to people being lazy and not shit in general. But a lot of those lazy ass tactics and mentalities came from government, shadow government shit anyways. So yeah, fuck all them motherfuckers. You get what I'm saying? A lot of that shit ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? God is really with those who help themselves. That's why you will, if you notice, when you go to church, there's very few people who actually believe in the shit that they're onto at the moment. You get what I'm saying? AKA, and 9 times out of 10, these be the people who get paid to be there. This be the piano player, the organist, and she always the one who jamming the keys. But meanwhile, when something gets said with a certain type of emphasis and a certain type of saying God's name and a certain type of saying Jesus Christ and a certain fucking Psalm 62 verse chapter fucking whatever it may be, the more all of a sudden hallelujah. You get what I'm saying? That type of shit. The more that start to happen. And so it's only very few people in the church who actually believe in this shit. And if you will take a look and see, 99.9% of the time, these people who actually believe in God and believe in Jesus Christ and whatever it is that they're doing, and they're not doing it to maintain an image for their parents or whoever it is in their environment, and they're not doing it to entice their thoughts and feelings at the moment, that person is more successful than everybody in the church 99.9% of the time. AKA the pastor be the richest person in the church. Everyone else is broke, yet meanwhile y'all still giving all y'all money to the pastor. Meanwhile, the organist get paid to be there, and she probably more successful than you. Meanwhile, the deacon of the church get paid to be there, and he probably more successful than you. You get what I'm saying? Because he actually believe in God. You get what I'm saying? He actually believe in God, and he actually take it in a personal way to help himself rather than doing it for somebody else. In the aspect of, I see a lot of people, especially around here in like the Southern Virginia region, who are strictly only into church because of their parents or their grandparents. And they know that if their son, daughter, grandson, granddaughter wasn't a Christian and didn't wear a dress every day, if they seen their granddaughter in a pair of pants or a pair of booty shorts, they would probably have a stroke and die right there on the spot. You get what I'm saying? So that's why, like, majority of people in my area specifically are into religion. You get what I'm saying? But the people who actually take it personally, actually believe it, and actually apply it to their life and make some type of a practice, aka a ritual around it, a routine and pattern, and incorporate it in some type of Saturn aspect, the more successful that this individual is. You get what I'm saying? And the more that they actually praise God whenever they're in the church. You get what I'm saying? And you can tell what's genuine and what's fake as well. If you're a person who can pick up on the energy, you can tell when a person who jump up and say hallelujah in the church is only doing that because their mother is sitting next to them, or only doing that because they want to look good in the eyes of the other churchgoers and the deacons and the pastor and shit like that. And then you can tell when somebody do that shit and they genuinely mean it. That's why I tell y'all embodiment is important. You get whatever the fuck you want off of embodiment. They handpick the ones who are able to embody the energies the best. You get what I'm saying? As far as movies, television, entertainment, business, education, politics, all this shit. So this is what we're talking about. This is where God is truly at. God help those who help themselves. That's why you got to develop. Shit. Had to wait. Fuck. Whew. We did pretty good though. Only an hour and 15 minutes before I actually needed to hit the weed pen again. So we actually in pretty good shape. You know what I'm saying? Going a whole hour and almost 15 without needing to tap that bitch one time. That's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? That made me sound like a fiend. I'm not even really like that, but I'm just saying when I do my live streams, I always make the mistake of hitting the fucking cart like early on into the video, and then all of a sudden everyone's disappeared, or all of a sudden like I'm just annoyed for the simple fact that fuck, like I was in the middle of something, now all of a sudden I'm coughing. You know what I'm saying? But essentially that's all I wanted to tell you guys. We're about to hop on here and read some of these comments. We might get Mooney in here. I sent this offer out to Xavier earlier in the morning. You know what I'm saying? But I believe he was either busy or he got off right as I had stretched out this offer to him. But Mooney, if you want to hop into my Discord or some shit, we can come and do a little chop up sesh for a few minutes if you have any add-ons or maybe questions. I doubt a person like you would have any questions though. You know what I'm saying? But we go read the comments real quick while we're waiting on a generated response from Mooney. But we got the target with the one handout, and then he said I'm gonna have to share this one on point. Real testimony. Hell yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we just doing our thing out here. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't necessarily want for that shit that I went through a few years ago, aka fucking going through struggles of not necessarily having a place to stay and necessarily being around tweakers and crackheads and shit all day. I didn't necessarily want that to be something that I ever talked about or reach the internet to a certain capacity. But I mean, shit, there's a time and place for everything, and I think that it just helped add a little bit of emphasis that I needed onto this video, as far as this is something that's very real that can actually be applied to your life to help you manifest and gain something from, or at least make your experiences a bit better, so you're not dealing with the same energies over and over again through different people. You know what I'm saying? So essentially I just wanted to show people, for the emphasis, like essentially where I came from to where I'm at now, and the shit that I have access to now that I didn't have access to previously. You know what I'm saying? To essentially just prove to y'all that this shit worked. Like I said, these things that I was talking about and shit, and certain internal and external issues that I used to deal with, like that was shit that I had been dealing with my whole life. And it played out in a multitude of different ways. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just me viewing one experience thinking that shit is a certain way. Now I got a stroke of luck while I just so happen to simultaneously being into my passion and motivation, creative endeavor type shit. And then now all of this shit just by chance, coincidentally, now I have all this extra access that I didn't previously have. Now you know what I'm saying? Now I have all these internal and external tools that I didn't have before, but I'm just on a stroke of luck at the moment. And you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to use that to prove why, why what I'm saying is essentially the shit at the moment. Mooney say, had similar had similar situations happen to me, cried over deep realizations. Yeah, I mean that's a real ass thing, especially under some full moon type of energy. There's many a time when I've been sitting up under some full moon type of energy. And don't get me wrong, I have cried over sadness as well. You know what I'm saying? And fuck you if you think that that's anything weak or anything like that. That's essentially just like a form of shedding and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But essentially I have cried over sadness a couple of times, always felt better after, well, more than a couple of times, I'll say. You know what I'm saying? But I've always felt better afterwards. But majority of the times that I've cried over some shit, it's out of happiness due to yeah, like he said, some formulation of a deep realization, especially up under some full moon energy, especially if you're like directly actually looking at the full moon with your own two eyes as well. You might be up under a full moon and just be viewing the shit with your own two eyes. And like I've been in perspectives where I just got happy for the simple fact of being me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've just gotten happy for the simple fact of like, shit, I'm me. Like, I really made myself who I am today. You know what I'm saying? And get like happy over some shit like that. Essentially, like viewing yourself from third person and shit like that. Viewing your own creations and shit like that. So yeah, I for sure cried over some shit like that too. Um, I'm driving right now. Thanks for the offer though. Oh yeah, word, good looks, man. Shit is what it is, man. Is what it is. I ain't tripping off nothing. Um, Jackie knew that job pissed me off with you. I felt that. I've been there. Yeah, man. Fucking shit just got so bad at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just felt fucking like shit just had got so bad at that point. That's the even reason why I went and got a job at that point. Cause I really didn't need to. Like, even though I was like, this is the crazy thing about it, man. This is why I be telling people all the time, like, God really got my back and has God and the universe got my back for real and has for a long ass time. Just due to the fact of like, yeah, I've been through fucked up situations, quite a lot of them, but I have always been protected in the most miraculous fucking ways that you have ever seen. You get what I'm saying? Like, even if some shit happened and we're in like a violent type of situation, something super chaotic with violence, maybe even guns around, maybe even, you know what I'm saying, even situations like that, I have always been protected in the most miraculous ways, that when shit after, like, on the other side of it, when it's said and done and I'm finished going through that experience, I like it literally is shocking to me. Like it doesn't even make sense. Like it's like beyond luck. It's like I've had some real situations that were like, I can't even think of no other way to describe this shit other than divine intervention. And I know that sounds fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying? But like I'm an extremely protected individual. Like genuinely, like not on no shit of where like how you see the bandwagon spiritual community, the mainstream spiritual community talking about being protected and all this shit. Like, no, bro. I've went through real ass situations that have directly shown me like I'm insanely protected, and it doesn't even make any fucking sense at all. Like it does not make sense, and I'm not trying at all to make sense out of it. Like, I don't care to make sense out of it at all. Just know that I'm grateful, bitch. That's that's all. So when I tell these motherfuckers God got my back, and y'all motherfuckers don't want to believe that shit, yeah, you don't know what you're doing, bro. I've seen people fuck with me and get arrested the next day. That's literally not on, ain't got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? That ain't got nothing to do with me. But I've seen people fuck with me and end up in very fucked up circumstances and situations very shortly after. And from my experience, I know I'm only 24 years old, but it seemed like when a person fuck with me, they can't get nothing going for themselves afterwards. I've noticed, genuinely, I've noticed they always end up in the most fucked up predicaments. But yeah, God be protecting Schwetzy, dog. God be protecting Schwetzy. Mooney said, I feel that, still got PTSD from shit like that, but God protected. Yeah, man, fucking just weird shit just be going on. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it ain't really shit you can do about that part of it. Cause there's somebody that you gonna fuck with that you always gonna you always gonna rub them the wrong way. Like I told you, the realest individual is gonna rub you the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be at a much higher degree, especially if you're a basic ass person or a low vibrational demonic type of person. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be to a much worse degree, all the way to a point where a person might formulate a team against you, or you get what I'm saying? Like a person might formulate a team against you. A person might be so into that being rubbed the wrong way by you that they misconstrued your actions for shit that it might not necessarily even be at the moment. And you might be being the most giving grace, respectful individual that ever has walked this fucking green earth. You know what I'm saying? But this person will still go behind your back and tell somebody that they know is going to bring violence to you or do some crazy shit to you, that you disrespected them in some type of way or did wrong to them in some type of way. It's super weird. I myself have been in situations where females will literally tell grown ass men that I put my hands on them. You get what I'm saying? Like I've literally been in situations like that and had to fight motherfuckers over a lying ass female and this is the crazy thing about it too. Certain females that I used to fuck with, some of them was bad and bad enough to the point where it's like, shit, I would have been in a relationship with you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just because back then I didn't really give a fuck about you know what I'm saying, where a bitch's mind was really at so much. You know what I'm saying? Back then I didn't really care about that so much. You know what I'm saying? But nowadays it's completely different. You know what I'm saying? But back then I would just be entertaining a bitch for a while, and even got to the point where it's like, damn, I think I might want to actually be in a relationship with this bitch. Start being extra nice to her and shit, taking her extra places, doing all types of stuff, and then all of a sudden here go me finding out that she telling some dude or a group of dudes that I fucking put my hands on her and I was disrespecting her in some type of way or some ass shit. Yeah, like that's weird shit. I mean, I don't know why people do that. Like, what would be your meaning and reasoning? Like, just for the simple fact that somebody said something to you or made you feel a certain type of way, that you willing to go do something that you know is going to cause violence to a person. Like, that shit don't make no motherfucking sense to me. You get what I'm like? That shit don't make no motherfucking sense to me. I don't know. And I could just be me being old fucking forgiving Schwetz and not necessarily fucking taking shit so seriously to the point where it need to come to that unless it need to. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm just smart. I don't know. Motherfuckers is willing to crash out over nothing, I guess. But this is my thing, bro. I don't give a fuck what you say. Not 9 times out of, because I've seen shit get real and I've seen shit get wiggity. Like y'all motherfucker, most of the world don't know about that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen shit get real. So I don't put myself in a position of taking some shit there when it don't necessarily need to. And if you gonna run your mouth, you can call me whatever you want to. You can say whatever you want to. All I'm gonna do is walk away. You know what I'm saying? The only time I'm gonna do something to you is if you trying to come at me or somebody that I care about. That's the only time that I'm gonna do anything to you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna let you get close to me either, because I'm for sure not gonna sit there and just let you be in my face fucking screaming and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna walk the fuck away, get the fuck up out of there. I'll even goddamn run if I have to. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck. What's not gonna happen is me being involved in some dumb shit for no fucking reason. You know what I'm saying? But if you trying to hurt me, kill me, come at somebody that I love or care about, it's the end. But yeah, that shit crazy. Birds of a feather flock together, says Mooney. Yeah. Jackie said that was the protection. You would never do that bullshit. Truly in different worlds, even when can't even know better. Yeah, facts, facts. That was a protection. You would never do that bullshit. Truly in different worlds. Even when can't even know better. I don't know what you mean in that last part, but yeah, we truly are in different worlds. But that's not even the juicy part of the fucking story. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I've told this story before. Okay, okay. Yeah, even when you ain't know better. Yeah, 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 yeah. Even when you ain't know better. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, facts, facts. But yeah, back in that time, bro, like I think I've told this story before. I know I posted it on my Instagram right after it happened. But I like this was like whenever I was on the cusp of really starting to actually do something. So this was like a year and a half, 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And I was really like I had grown a lot at that point, and I had been dealing with the fucked up situations that I was in for a good minute at that point. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so this girl had said all this bullshit about me, making up fake ass stories, and I go over to this dude's house because I was trying to buy something from him, right? So I go over to this dude's house. I had no idea that he knew this girl that I was fucking with. I had no idea anything about anything, right? So I'm walking down the street and I'm going to meet this individual, right? And that's when my intuition hit me, telling me, man, something ain't right. Something ain't right. And I just continue walking because what this motherfucker had was some weed and he was gonna give me a good deal on it. So I essentially I let the desires outweigh my intuition. This was whenever I was still um trying to identify the difference between what was just my anxiety hitting me a little bit and what was actually my intuition telling me to fuck off from a certain situation. And essentially the conclusion that I came to is they're both pretty much the same thing. If you're feeling anxious about something at the moment, you're probably not around the right people, places, or things, and you probably need to separate from that anyways. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, when you start to get that gnawing anxiety, a lot of the time that's the exact same fucking thing, just disguised at the moment because people want to give a terminology to every fucking thing. So you goddamn be sitting here confused thinking that your intuition and you getting hit by some anxiety at the moment is two separate things when it in reality a lot of the time, at least in my experience, it's the exact same fucking thing. And as soon as I start dealing with the circumstance, situation, people, person, place, or thing that my anxiety is getting sparked from at the moment, I immediately realize okay, I see why now that I was experiencing that fucking intuition, aka being defined as anxiety at the moment. I see why now. This individual ain't shit. This circumstance and situation ain't shit. This place ain't shit. Whatever it may be. This environment ain't shit, and it's not for me at the moment. But anyways, so yeah, I was walking down the street going to this individual's house, and my intuition is like just fucking constant. Like it's like it will not leave me alone. It's like probably one of the strongest that I've ever felt it. So, and I was just thinking, okay, it's just anxiety. Weed is still illegal down here in Virginia. You're just nervous about going to do this drug deal, right? That's what I was thinking. Like that's all it is. You're just nervous about going to meet this individual. You don't know him. You're going to his fucking house. Da 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 da. So I continue on anyways because I'm like, well, yeah, all that is true, but goddamn, where am I gonna find another bag of weed for this price at the moment? I'm broke as shit. I need it. You know what I'm saying? So I went with the desire rather than just trusting the intuition and separating immediately from that shit. So kept going and eventually end up at this dude's house. And my intuition is fucking at its peak at this point. And whenever he opens the door and starts talking to me, that's when it got like to its highest point. You know what I'm saying? And what happened was fucking he says something to me and then he's like, "All right, come on in." And he like walks in and like closes the door a bit and just like leaves it cracked because I was like a little bit behind him. So the door like kind of closed a little bit on its own or whatever. And I stood there for like 2 seconds and I about turned around and fucking left and just said, yeah, fuck this. Something ain't right. I need to just go. But I'm like still on that fucking stupid ass desire thinking, oh shit, bag of weed for a cheap price. Oh fuck, sales. Goddamn, that's sales. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go in there. So I walk in and immediately as soon as I close the door behind me, and he locks it immediately, I'm like, oh fuck, okay, here we go. This is something right here, right? So so what happened is I'm standing there in the kitchen, and so this dude is there, the dude who brought me in, and also some other dude who I don't even know, just a random motherfucker I had never met before. And I didn't realize it at first, but because I'm watching the person, my attention is more so on the person that's behind me. Like a lot of y'all don't, I don't know. This could be the same for everyone. I'm not entirely sure, or this could just be my spirit due to me just being a spiritual warrior in general. I guarantee you there's been a lot of situations where I've dealt with actual physical warfare as well. But when these moments come, like this is how I am naturally, but it's like very heightened when my intuition is spiking and there's like violence or chaos in the environment. Like I can, when I can sense that there's like impending doom essentially. You know what I'm saying? So my attention is able to like split to all these different avenues. And I essentially like to me, I know this might sound crazy to some of y'all. I know this might not make a lot of sense to some of y'all. But to me, genuinely, when those impending doom, impending violence situations occur, the time literally slows down for me. Like I'm not exaggerating. Everything seems to go much slower than naturally. And everything is like in slow mo, not to the point where everyone's like, hey. Like, no, not to that point, but like I can tell that time is moving much slower, even to the point where in a fight, like that I can sense time much slower than normal. And I feel like it's a big, I feel like it's like noticed. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, so I'm sitting here. My attention is split between the person that's behind me who just let me in the house, who is locking the door, because I shit in general I don't like people behind me anyways. You know what I'm saying? But my attention is split between him and the person who is in front of me, right? So they're both on opposite sides. So I didn't notice what the guy in front of me was doing, right? He's standing there and he's waiting for the other dude to come back. So when the other dude comes around, the guy who was initially there, I notice what he's doing now, and he starts talking to me, but I'm not even really listening to what he's saying, because at this point I already realized, like I already knew within myself that this was going to be a situation where violence is coming. It doesn't matter what I say, I'm not going to be able to talk myself out of this situation. And like that, there's nothing that I can do with words to change this person's mind. I can already tell based on the energy, the sentiment that these two individuals are in, what's going on, the fact that there are other people in the background. I can tell that this is something that is not just going to be solved with words or some shit. Like they already have made up their mind before I even came here, type of shit, right? So as they both come to standing in front of me now, and I don't have to place my energy on paying attention to behind me, I'm watching both of them now, but my attention is still on multiple things at once. And once again, this might be something that don't make sense to y'all. Not only is time slowed down for me in these situations, but also I have multiple trains of thought going at the exact same time, multiple internal dialogues going at the exact same time. I'm not only analyzing these two individuals in front of me and what they're both doing, I'm also analyzing the room itself, everything that is around me, what could possibly be a weapon, what possibly couldn't be. I know this sounds like some movie shit. I know it sounds made up, but I'm being fucking dead ass serious with you guys. You know what I'm saying? Multiple trains of thoughts at the exact same time. Analyzing the room, analyzing the exit strategy. I'm like, fuck, will I be able to make it to the door and unlock the door before they get to me? No, that ain't gonna work. Can I jump out of this window right here and bust the window out and jump out right here? No, that's not gonna work, because while that's going on, like I said, I'm also analyzing the 2 individuals that are in front of me, as well as the 5 or 6 other individuals who are in the other room right here behind them. But what I realize is the person that's in front of me, that's on the left hand side, has a fucking gun in his hand. So I'm like, okay, shit, fuck. Any exit strategy is not going to work. If I jump out this window, this individual is probably just going to shoot me, right? So I'm like, okay. The conclusion that I came to is we're just going to have to face this. There's nothing else we can do. I can't escape. I know that there's no way to talk myself out of it. The only thing that we can do is face this fully and just fucking go with it. Whatever happens, happens, right? So that's the conclusion that I had to come to. But like I said, I'm analyzing the individuals in front of me. The one on the left-hand side has a gun, and he's asking me about this girl that I was fucking telling you about, who's goddamn going and telling these motherfuckers that I was goddamn punching on her and shit, and said something wrong to her or something. I don't know exactly what she had fucking told them, because I really wasn't listening to what the dude was saying. I was more so paying attention to the energy itself and what was going on. And I was more in like whenever situations like that come along, I think the reason why I'm able to slow down time like that is due to the fact of I be more in a spiritual space rather than so predicated towards outside shit. You know what I'm saying? But it also could be a combination of the two. You know what I'm saying? Because I do have to like be on point and focus and see what exactly is going on. But at the same time, I put myself in the right type of spiritual energy and use the right frequencies and vibrations and the right tools to put me in a space where whatever I'm about to go through can be gone through much more sufficiently and much easier. You get what I'm saying? But like I said, this individual has a gun, and he's talking about this girl and whatever I did say or didn't say to her, or whatever I did or didn't do to her. Like I said, I wasn't paying attention to that. I was paying attention to the energy, putting myself in the right internal space, and also paying attention to what's in my surroundings, what I can use to my advantage in this situation, right? So what happens is I keep telling this dude, he asked me like, oh, so did you do it, essentially? And that's when like everything, all the other shit that I was thinking about and putting my energy on, all that shit is like, it comes out of focus, and my focus is right here on the situation itself. So what happens is he's like, so did you, when my attention comes back, he's like, so did you do this or not? Did you do what we're accusing you of or not, or whatever? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I have absolutely no fucking idea what you're talking about, right? So then the dude cocks the gun and puts it to my head, and he says, I'm gonna ask you again, did you do this or not? Type shit. And I said, no, I didn't. I swear to God, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. And genuinely, I didn't. Like, I had no clue what he was talking about. I have no idea still to this day what he did or didn't even tell her. Or, I mean, what she did or didn't tell him. You know what I'm saying? I have no clue what it was about, essentially. But what's it called? As he finally asked me the last time, the guy who was with him is like, oh, I read the Snapchat messages. You did do this and say this and da 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 da. And I'm like, well, okay, whatever. I was like, whatever you want to say, essentially. And so this dude who's on the left side puts down the gun, and they start like speaking louder and shit like that. Like they started yelling, and he asked me again or some shit. And or no, I'm misremembering that. He didn't even put the gun down. He swung at me with the shit still in his hand. He threw it down on the table as we were in the process of fighting. But yeah. So I'm in this bitch, and this is the thing, just a reminder. This is just a story for me to remember for my own self, for my digital fucking documentary, you know what I'm saying? But also at the same time, is something that tied to showing y'all how God be protecting me, and I was in those right type of spaces as far as using these tools in the correct type of aspect. You know what I'm saying? This shit don't just happen by accident. Okay. So I came in this bitch with, this was back when I was making jewelry and shit like that, making necklaces and shit like that. I had on like 4 or 5 necklaces. I had on like 4 or 5 crystal gem bracelets on each arm, all light colored shit, white colored shit on the left side, left brain shit, white light colored shit, and then all darker colors on the right side, feminine colors on the right side. You get what I'm saying? And then I also had like a piece of tiger's eye and a piece of rose quartz in my pocket, right? And that was just how I used to roll back then. Like, you see me now, I ain't got shit on at the moment. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how I used to roll back then. I had a lot of jewelry at all times. But so I had all that shit on. And these motherfuckers still couldn't fuck with me. And that's where God be really helping those who help themselves. You get what I'm saying? Even if you go through the most fucked up circumstances and situations, you still gonna be protected and taken care of on the other side of it, because you take care of yourself and you don't rely on anything or anyone else or any even concept or any even character that you can create. You don't rely on any of that shit. So you're truly in the space of all possibilities, because you're nothing, just pretending to be something at the moment or using something as a tool at the moment. You get what I'm saying? So what happened was, the dude who had the gun swing on me first, right? And he tries to go for like a big ass haymaker and shit. Like, I don't want to be to get on this bitch and be too bragging and boasting too much. You know what I'm saying? But I kind of deserve it at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because fuck, dude, like I'm like 155 pounds. I'm 6'3". I'm probably like underweight for my height. Like, my real height weight, I think, is like 185 on the low end for what they call a healthy weight for that height or whatever. But I'm 6'3", 155. Back then I was probably way lighter. I was probably 125, 130 at that point. You get what I'm saying? But it's 2 dudes, and I'm fighting fucking 2 dudes. After the first one swung on me, what happened? I hit him with one of these. You know what no, not really. I'm not gonna be ignorant on here. You know what I'm saying? But I hit him with one of these. I blocked the because they came in from the left side. Like I said, I literally slow down time in these moments. I'm fighting 2 dudes, but I realize, okay, the worst thing for me to do in this situation is to actually try to fight back in that type of aspect, as far as trying to like actually fucking hurt them or lay them out in some type of way. I'm like, okay, both of these individuals are like 200 pounds a piece. You get what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, the best thing for me to do is just play defense right now and kind of knock them off their pivot and confuse them a little bit, and then I'll be able to be let go. You get what I'm saying? Like, they'll just give up and walk away type shit. You know what I'm saying? So what happened was, first dude comes in with the left giant ass haymaker like an idiot. If you fucking fight like that, you're stupid. The first thing you do is a big ass revealing, knowing goddamn exactly, goddamn telegraph it from fucking a mile away type of giant ass haymaker. You are dumb, especially if you're trying to sneak somebody, because it was mid conversation. It wasn't something that that fucking you could directly see coming, as far as like, shit, we know, all right, square up, we about to fight type shit. No, it was mid conversation. This motherfucker is just, what did you do? And I just hit him with the I'm telling you, bro, like this is not made up shit. And I can sit here and tell y'all this testimony because I'm just grateful for the fact of how much God protected me through that situation. And not only that, the wisdom and knowledge on the other side of it. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, first dude comes at me. I hit him with the white cha, the slicey-o. You get what I'm saying? Hit him with one of these and block the left-handed shot. And then the other dude come in and start attacking me from the right side. So I blockity chockety his homeboy, and then here he come with all type of extra energies as far as trying to fucking wrangle and grapple with a motherfucker and shit. So he come in trying to like tackle me from the side and shit. And he like pushed me into a table and like onto the side of the counter and all type of extra shit. So I'm like, oh god damn. You know what I'm saying? So it only take me a matter of a couple seconds to recover from that shit, right? So and I get this dude off of me, but at this point, they're both like coming at me directly now at this point. So what happens is like they both like try to grab a hold of me and shit and like throw me across the room to the ground pretty much. Like they tried to throw me. What happened was like they both shoved me at the same time real hard, or maybe I might have been kicked. I'm not sure. I might have been kicked from the side or some shit like that. Either that or they just both shoved my ass really hard. But I got kicked from the left side then at this point, and I almost fell. But what happened was I essentially I remember this shit fucking very vividly. You get what I'm saying? But obviously I got long ass hair. At that point, my hair was even longer. So fucking my eyes were covered in shit. Like I was not coming into this shit being prepared for a goddamn fight. I was coming into this shit being prepared to get a bag of weed, go back home and smoke me a fucking backwood. You know what I'm saying? So like my hair is all in my face and shit. I can't really see too well, but I'm still fending these motherfuckers off. And like I said, they either pushed me or kicked me from the left side to push me up across the other side of the room. And I remember I bent down in the process of like falling forward. You know what I'm saying? All I did was bend down, and these three fingers specifically, touched the ground, and that's all I did. I just literally touched the ground, and it bounced me back up to give me my footing and my balance back. So by the time I got like back up against the wall, I was cool. But once again, I'm still fighting two fucking dudes who are at least 200 pounds apiece. And then one dude comes in from the right and starts laying in them body shots. Whoop-a-cha, whoop-a-cha. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time as this is going down, the other dude grabs a hold of my hair and is like pulling my head down and trying to like pull me to the ground. But this is when I say God be protecting me. Not only did I not hit the ground, these motherfuckers had no opportunity to stomp me out or really hurt me at all. You know what I'm saying? I never got punched in the face, not once. I never had a sore spot. I never had a bruise. I never had a black eye. I was literally, I showed y'all. Go look at my Instagram. Go look at my Instagram. As soon as this shit happened, I posted about it. It might have just been a story though, so y'all might not actually be able to see that, matter of factly. But I was posting about this shit fucking an hour after it happened. Clean cut, clean face. After getting jumped by two people who are way bigger than I was. You get what I'm saying? But like I said, God be protecting me. Why the fuck three fingers just hit the ground and it immediately boosts me back up and I'm right back on my feet. And not only that, it's two people who are way bigger than me. Okay, we're grown ass men. These motherfuckers are pulling hair and jumping me, and they still couldn't even get me to the ground. Even when I was up against the wall and I'm fucking like fending this person off with one arm and getting my hair pulled and trying to worry about that with the other arm, they still couldn't even get me to the ground. So what happened? They gave up. The whole interaction lasted a total of probably like 15 seconds. Once they realized that they couldn't get me to the ground, they didn't want to fuck with me no more. Like that, like these motherfuckers did not hurt me at all on some real shit. But what happened later is that was the real protection right there, though. You get what I'm saying? That was the real protection right there. Like you can't make that up. Anybody else, they probably would have got slick outside their mouth, said some dumbass shit, got their ass shot, or panicked, tried to run away, got their ass shot. Panicked, tried to run away, jump out the window, get their ass shot. Or try to take the gun out the dude's hand or some dumbass shit, get their ass shot. And then here we go. Fucking homicide, 5150 or whatever the fuck criminally insane you want to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the protection. Not only do I know how to keep when and where to keep my motherfucking mouth closed, I also know what to do, what not to do. And also on the other side of it, it's a fucking smorgasbord of wisdom and knowledge to obtain from that. Get what I'm saying? I'm not going to speak on, because that's like highly personal shit as far as those perspectives that I obtained after going through like a heavy, chaotic, violent experience like that. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. I don't necessarily want to talk about on here. That could be more so left for private videos and stuff like that. But that's the real protection. That's where God is at. God help those who help themselves. And this is the thing about it too. Those individuals came back like an hour later because fucking I came home and I was pissed off. I was gonna go. I ain't even gonna say what I was gonna go do. Yeah, I ain't even gonna say what I was gonna go do. But I was still like I was pissed off still, even though that I learned a lot from that situation. I was still pissed off, like really bad to the point where I wanted to do something to these motherfuckers. So I'm walking home or whatever, right? And I'm pissed, and I guess I'm wearing it on my face, and like I'm wearing it on me. So I walk up to somebody who stay at where I stay at, and they're like, "What's wrong? Like what happened, bro? What's wrong with?" Because they knew where I was going too. They knew I was going to cop some weed and shit. So they're like, "What's wrong?" And I didn't want to tell these motherfuckers because I already knew what was about to happen. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so what happened was they keep drilling me whenever we go inside, and they keep drilling me about what happened, right? So I eventually finally end up telling these motherfuckers like, okay, this is what happened or whatever, da da da. These are the individuals who are involved, da 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 da. Right. But I knew that these motherfuckers was gonna try to do some dumb shit, aka try to fight the people who are involved or try to retaliate in some type of way. And a lot of the time, I don't believe in retaliating. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna retaliate on my own time, personally as an individual in a very, very bad way. But I finally came to the conclusion, like, okay, it don't necessarily need to go that far. If I'm meant to get back off of that, I'll get to get back off of that. You know what I'm saying? But these other individuals, I knew even if it wasn't their situation and it wasn't pertaining to them in any shape or form, they would still be in the perspective where they would want to fucking retaliate for their homeboy and shit and go and do something to these individuals. So what happens is I tell them who it was, tell them who was involved, and I told them just leave the situation alone. I say it's over, it's done with. Just leave the situation alone. If I want to, I'll do something on my own time. And damn sure, best thing to do is catch these motherfuckers off guard, anyways, like they did to me, instead of directly coming at them. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is fucking goddamn homeboys I was hanging out with in the fucking trap back then end up calling these dudes up or texting their phone or some shit. Some of them knew one of them from a can of paint somehow. You know what I'm saying? Knew this motherfucker somehow. So somebody ends up hitting them up, da 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 da, right? And so me and all my homeboys get involved in at that point, and then all them and all of their homeboys get involved at that point. And I'm like, man, y'all motherfuckers are stupid, man. This is why I don't tell nobody nothing. You get what I'm saying? It pissed me off that they even like get other people involved, try to start talking shit over the internet, doing all this extra shit. That's goofy shit to me. And the way this played out lets you know that these motherfuckers is goofies and on goofy shit. You know what I'm saying? But we'll just say that we'll just continue along with the story and say fuck that for now. So, anyways, they start talking all this shit on the internet, invite all these motherfuckers to come over to the crib, right? Dumbass shit, sending out the address and everything, sending the location immediately, telling them pull up. I already told them they got a gun. I'm like, you motherfuckers are stupid. Y'all are dumber than shit. I said, and I was like, man, these motherfuckers jumped me already. If they think they're outnumbered, they have to jump one person who is much smaller than them. What the fuck do you think they're gonna do when they feel outnumbered and feel weak? They're gonna start shooting, you idiot. Like, what is wrong with people? People are just ignorant. I don't know. I just always been a fucking genius since a youngin', I guess. I don't know. But anyways, so they invite all these people over here, right? And so it's like the dude who jumped me, and it was just him by himself. He didn't bring the other dude who jumped me as well. It was the dude who jumped me, and then like six other individuals that he rolled with. So he rode up there with people who had more guns and also more people. And then it was me and like 4, 5, 6 other individuals who were just at the crib. Let's see here. I'm not gonna name them all out. Yeah, so it was me and 4 other individuals. So it was like 5 people at the house, right? So when these motherfuckers pull up, look, I'm under the impression, bitch, look, and this should be for anybody. I'm not about to be ignorant and get myself hurt just for the simple fact of my pride, or fucking even to the point where you want to talk about, oh, my manhood or some dumbass shit. I was in a perspective at this time. Look, these motherfuckers snuck me and they jumped me. They deserve to get it the worst way, right? And not only that, I've already been jumped today. Why the fuck am I gonna fight anyone else? You know what I'm saying? I need to fucking chill right now. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is all these people roll up. I'm not saying shit. Everyone else is just talking and talking a whole bunch of shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just sitting here letting these goddamn ignorant ass fucking children run their mouth and shit. So I'm like, whatever, whatever, whatever. Just standing there watching all this shit go down. And they're talking about what happened or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then somehow at some point it became something that wasn't even about what happened to me anyways. At a certain point, somebody on my side had dissed whatever gang they were a part of or some shit, like some blood set that dude was a part of or some shit. And the motherfucker got mad over that. So the dude wasn't even the dude that jumped me. He get mad over that. So he ready to square up with one of the other dudes that was there with me over that shit. So and this is after like fucking 15 minutes of goddamn just sitting there running they fucking mouth. Ignorant ass people. Probably none of them probably even wanted to actually fight in the first place. And nobody ever even actually swung hands. So essentially, after these two now are in an argument over fucking somebody dissing somebody's gang ties or what the fuck ever. Now they two start going at it, but they don't ever throw a punch. They just like square up and start like rotating and shit like that. Nobody ever throws a punch. Somebody threw like one leg kick or some dumbass shit like that. And then they just put their hands down and they was like, well, all right, if you don't want to do it, we don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? So essentially that lets you know these motherfuckers ain't even want to fight for real in the first place. Motherfuckers was just talking shit. And just because somebody have a certain percentage level of goddamn muscle distribution to their fucking bicep and shit like that, they think they fucking King Billy badass and shit like that, and they need to take up for everybody and cuss everybody out and talk shit to every individual who crossed their path and look at them the wrong way. So that's essentially what was going down. So they never threw a punch at all. They just rotated around each other, and this is what let me know really like I already knew it beforehand, but even more so let me know like the individuals that I was around at that time really was not worth a shit. Not only are you big for no reason because you ain't even really courageous, you like fake courageous for real. You don't even actually really want to fight. You two dumbass motherfuckers just want to put on a show and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That type of aspect. You know what I'm saying? But this is what taught me that these individuals really wasn't shit that I was around. So them two never even fought. After the fucking blood argument or whatever is diffused, all of a sudden it circled back to the situation with me. Now the problem becomes about that. And like I said, I was already prepared to drop this shit. I would rather catch a motherfucker off guard. Shit. You know what I'm saying? Or just not do anything at all. You know what I'm saying? You either, when you fucking with me, you either gonna get nothing at all, or you gonna get the exact same shit did to you. And maybe even so at a worser degree. Like I'm not gonna take it easy on you, and I'm damn sure not gonna give you the chance of a fair running a fair ones with you. Like what kind of fucking punk ass shit is that? You way bigger than me, you jumping me with another person, and you still can't even get me to the ground. So now you salty about that. Like what, man, what the fuck is niggas on? But anyways, so yeah, after the blood argument fizzle out, the blood argument, when that fizzle out, it come back to me. And so now they're asking me questions, and they're trying to get me to fight one of the dudes that just fucking jumped me. And I'm like, no, like what the like, are y'all stupid or something? Why the fuck? And this is not just y'all can chalk this up as whatever you want to, bro. Like y'all can jump into my comment section and just say, oh, you just a coward, da 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 da, blah blah blah, all this and that. I've run the fair ones with plenty of motherfuckers. Like, you genuinely don't know what you're talking about. At this point, though, you jumped me. You don't deserve a fair ones. And not only that, I just got jumped fucking 15, 20 minutes prior to this. Why the fuck am I running the ones with anyone? So I was like, fuck that. I ain't doing that shit. You can go to fuck home or fight somebody else. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all was the ones who made this a problem anyways. I didn't even have a problem with this. I would have dealt with my own emotion, my own anger towards it, and dealt with the thought forms that came with that on my own time. I wouldn't have gave a fuck. You know what I'm saying? To deal with that on my own time and take it and deal with it however I saw fit, individually, by my motherfucking self, because that's always how I've rolled. You know what I'm saying? But these individuals wanted to make an issue about it. And so yeah, it's not even me who brought the shit up, made it into that. It was these other individuals that I was around, just because I was vulnerable and open enough to share with them something that had just taken place in my life and happened to me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, individuals in that situation was viewing me as being the weak individual in that situation. And this just ties back to, once again, another perspective of showing you that everything is not as it appears to be. You get what I'm saying? And the proof is in the pudding from what you see these individuals going through now. And, you know, that's something personal that only I can see. You guys can't necessarily see that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I got viewed as the weak person in this circumstance and situation, due to the fact that I didn't want to fight this individual because he just jumped me, and now I don't want to give him the fair ones. Why the fuck would I? Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? That's besides the point, though. That shit probably needed to happen for me to realize these people around me wasn't shit. Because from my perspective, the weak one is the individual who started this shit in the first place, but still don't want to. If you claiming that you looking out for me and you taking up for me, it should have been every other person that was there aside from myself, and unless they just wanted me to jump in or some shit like that. It should have been every other person there aside from myself that should have been fighting, unless we're all fighting as a group. You get what I'm saying? It never should have been me. But anyways, we got to a little too long-winded with the story time and shit. 6:19 now. I really wanted the main piece of the content to be about what the main title is. We kind of got a little too long-winded with the story time and shit like that. But essentially, this still all does tie back to the main situation at hand. You know what I'm saying? I can look at every other individual who is in that previous situation that I was just speaking about and tell you right now with 100% assurity that I'm in a much better situation than those individuals are. I'm much happier in life than those individuals are. I have access to a lot more things than those individuals do have. Every individual who is in that situation now is either in jail. I think one of them is actually dead as well, or in the same type of bullshit circumstances and situations, still living in crack houses and still probably participating in the same bullshit that they was participating in the first place. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, God look out for his children. God look out for its children. Actually, matter of fact, let's not say his. But yeah, Got a little long-winded with the story time, but essentially you guys get the picture. It ties back to the main premise of the overall story anyways, of the main topic of the video. The main point is, do you see how by me, because I've, like I said, I've been through similar situations like that in the past. I've been dealing with situations like that my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I still had that level of protection going on. That's been apparent my entire life. You know what I'm saying? But just notice how me actually applying astrology and religion as a tool and spirituality as a tool itself for my individuality and my own individual practice, just notice what that brings. It brings a more higher amplified level of protection. And not only that, at the same time, you can go through any shitty situation and make the best out of it. Get whatever it is that you need. Like I told you guys, certain individuals of you guys want to craft certain things. Certain individuals out here want to make like pocketbooks or make fucking uh whatever it may be. You get what I'm saying? I've seen individuals who started out making pocketbooks out of fucking Kool-Aid jammers or out of goddamn what's it called, Rice Krispie treats or some weird ass shit like that, literally taking trash off the ground, repurposing it. You get what I'm saying? Making something out of it, and having a little cheap ass phone to be able to record it and upload it on the internet. And all of a sudden now they have their own boutique, or now they have their own, you get what I'm saying? It's just a matter of how you apply the tools rather than what it is that you actually have at your disposal at the moment. You get what I'm saying? So you could go and take a fucking, borrow a chainsaw from somebody, chop a goddamn piece off the top of a fucking tree stump, take a goddamn piece of a fucking tree log and fucking carve something into it, or get borrow a pencil from somebody and make a drawing on the piece of tree, or burn it with like a torch and a fucking little piece of metal or some shit, and do some type of engraving, wood burning type of shit. And now all of a sudden you have a business practice built around that. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't matter where you start out from, and it doesn't matter what you think that you necessarily don't have access to at the moment, or what you think it is that you need to have to do something. You can do it from the ground basis. You just need to be in a perspective of actually taking action rather than inaction, and also being in a perspective where you're not worried about embarrassing yourself, and you're not worried about what other people will think. Like, you would think, even if you're a person, like, you might have a place, you might have a house to stay at, you might have a decent job, but you want to get into some crafty shit, and you be the person who go and take recycled trash. Now all of a sudden, every aluminum can that gets dropped in the trash can at your work, you're scrounging through the recycled trash and picking out all the cans to make them into some type of metal aluminum necklace jewelry, or clipping them down into smaller pieces and making a sculpture out of it or some shit like that, because you necessarily don't have the bread like that to go and get a and get like a clay, a bunch of clay and like some figurines or some shit like that to be able to build onto it and sculpt like that. So you got to use what you necessarily have. You know what I mean? And people, you might be afraid that, oh fuck, what is old Sally Joe Thomas gonna say at work and shit when she see me digging through the trash can? Like, that motherfuckers is gonna think I'm like homeless or something, or motherfuckers is gonna think I'm desperate, broke, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about all that shit. And any individual who do view you like that, just based on your current circumstance and situation, yeah, you probably don't want to be around that individual anyways. That they're probably not no good for you. If a person can only be good to you and fuck with you just due to your economic status and how much money you make, or what level of job and education that you have at the moment, you get what I'm saying, or what you can provide for them. If all that shit is needed to fuck with you, you probably don't want that individual anyways. They're probably not for you. That's an individual who is gonna burn you at the first chance that they can, 9 times out of 10. And the moment that whatever that wet substance is that you giving them, that's satiating some type of mental or emotional stimuli within them at the moment. The moment that water source dry up for them and they drink the last drop from it, that's the moment that they turn on you, and all of a sudden you're in a situation wondering what the fuck happened and where all your friends go and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it all tie into the overall story. Just take into consideration. Use everything as a tool. You use everything as a tool and actually apply it. Don't be interested just of how cool the fucking tool looks or how it sounds and how interesting it is and how when I talk about this, certain people start to pay attention to it now that might not have paid attention to it beforehand. You get what I'm saying? Essentially, all I'm trying to tell y'all is just do something. Just anything. It don't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what you're into. Just do something. You know what I'm saying? We see it all the time. Go look on YouTube right now. There's people who I'm sure have a crazy amount of revenue that they're getting every month off of YouTube videos who literally sit there and put a video on loop of a campfire burning. Go and look it up right now and look how many views are on that video. For a very first one you can look up, a video of a person literally recording a fire burning and putting on loop for fucking 8 to 10 hours. Just go and look. You can do anything that you want to do, man. If you really just passionate about the way that a fucking fire sound when it's burning, the crackling sound, and you actually apply that as some tool with some type of practical application, make a video out of it, make a cool thumbnail with it, title it the right type of way, 30 million views. Go and check. Now go and look up a video of a stream, a video of a river stream running on loop, maybe with a little bit of music in the background. Same shit. 80 million views. Same shit. You know what I mean? Just do something, motherfuckers. But anyways, we out this bitch. I don't want to get any more long-winded than we already are. We're fucking 2:16 in here. We usually do not go nearly this long. But this was one that needed to be broken down, and y'all reminded me of a story, a testimony of my own, a couple of them actually that applied directly to this situation. So y'all a little long-winded with that shit. It's kind of, we had to explain that shit to its entirety for the most part. But yeah, anyways, each one teach one class tonight. Shine in darkness. Hey, she's gonna be on there tonight. You guys look on my YouTube channel for my next piece of content coming out is gonna be predicated towards that. I might do something with her intro on it or some shit like that, and let you guys see a little bit about who she is, and probably put some tunes on it, edit it up real nice, and have a piece of content with the correct type of links for where you guys need to go and sign up and shit like that. So be on the lookout for that. If you guys want to join the Discord for the communication station, it's in the description of this video, as well as my business link. If you have any issues with the Discord link and it's not working properly or something like that, just go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm shivering, by the way. I need to take a piss now, so I'm trying to get this shit out before we get off here. But yeah. If you have any issues with the Discord link or anything like that, you know what I'm saying, send me either a DM on Instagram or an email in my email inbox. They're both there below as well. And you guys can find me there and tell me if you have any issues. If you got any issues, I'll just send you a personal invite on that tip, as well as tarot card readings, consultations, guided meditation sessions, birth chart readings, whatever you guys may need. Donation link, all that shit's in the bio as well. If you guys want to hit any of that up, just let me know. And also keep in mind, my class is on the 23rd, so be there that night. Make sure you guys tap in with Dave Beyond TV, sign up, and check my next piece of content coming out that is going to have the link for the Each One Teach One sign up class. The sign up link itself will be on there. So yeah, you guys visit all that shit, check that shit out, and stay tuned. We will be back shortly. Peace.